Hey, I'm back with my Thoughtful Thursdays. I'm highly inspired by the two books that I spoke about in my last Thoughtful Thursdays. That is The Artist Way by Julia Cameron and The Curious Marketer by Harish Pai. I love the book and it has really opened the vistas of my mind. And I've got a series of observations for you. The first observation that I have is what happened yesterday. It is straight out of the oven, freshly baked. I was at my physiotherapist's clinic and next to it, there's a shop which sells healthy oils. You know, your almond oil, your coconut oil and whatever other till and groundnut, freshly ground oil. And he has suddenly decided to open a momo stall and masala dosa and idli. And what happened was, he decided to give the two girls who helped, that is Nagini and Sarita, to sample the momos. And we just happened to be there at that time. The instant reaction of these two girls, they're not MBAs or marketing honchos or whatever. They said, Didi, ये क्यों शुरू किया ये मोमो स्टॉल? हेल्दी ऑयल है ना, कुछ हेल्दी डालना रखना चाहिए था. Juice will go very well. And just imagine, we talk about brand inclusions, we talk about brand extensions. Suddenly healthy oils and then you have something which is unhealthy that you're getting into. There was no thought application, I'm sure. There was another woman and obviously she was working for L'Oreal and she said, you know, he has not actually studied the competition. There's a vada pav fellow, there's a Chinese bhel fellow, there's a pani puri and now he's come out with momos. Why will people come to a clinic which is healthy and then go to a healthy oils place and eat things like that? It just did not fit in. And many times, we as brands and big brands fail to see these blind spots. Or as founders, as companies, we get an idea and we want to go with it. But we have not really applied our mind whether this fits in with the brand. Is this something that the imagery of my brand, can it include this particular thought? And that's the word of caution that I got, and I registered this immediately. So that is my first observation and my first story about how consumers experience a brand. The second one is the whole of last week, I didn't have my car. Pradeep, who's been my escort driver for 12 years, decided to go. And I said, I have to take an Uber. And then your routine is completely gone haywire. And right throughout, my experience had been good. I reserved it, I got some very good drivers. But the last day, the quality of my ride was not that good. I had to literally put on music to stop thinking about the driver and the quality of the ride. And by the time I had reached, I was in a very bad state of mind. And I said, what happened? While he was taking me to office, I suddenly said, let me check his rating. And it was 4.6. I said, yeah, that is why he's doing all of these. He's honking, not listening to instructions, mumbling away. He had a bad throat, he was coughing, he was burping. And it affected me. And the learning from that is, when people ask us for a rating and review, there is something that goes on in our mind. There's one factor on which we decide what to rate on. That was my observation and experience. Can I do that for my business? Can I do that for what I offer as a service to my client? What is that one factor that determines the experience, to make it pleasant, to make it memorable? And if we bring that down to that factor and start analyzing it, I think we'll be in a better place. We take many of these things for a ride. You have always observed the Swiggy and the Zepto guy says, ma'am, rating dena. Why do they do that? They do that because that affects their work, that affects what they do. They take pride in what they do and therefore they've asked you for a rating. The guys who don't ask for a rating do not care about this. This is my second observation. And I have a few more observations. This is only part one of this episode of observations. Hang on there. I'm going to talk about it in my next episode, which is a part 2.